さよなら愛してるよハニーまた会える日まで元気でいてね
Hello, I'm George Trombley and this is YesJapan.com Ask a Teacher. Today's question is asked by The Grimace. Now his question is very, very long. It takes up the entire page, so I'm going to try to sum it up here. It's all about pronunciation. I think many new learners of Japanese have these same type of questions and concerns about pronunciation. But let me sum it up and answer this question as concisely as possible. Let's look at this. These are the only sounds in Japanese, and really it's these top 5 that make up every other sound in Japanese without any exception. Let's look at them. A, I, U, E, O. That's it. Nothing else. It doesn't matter if it's ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, pa, pi, pu, pe, po, ma, mi, mu, me, mo, na, ni, nu, ne, no. It doesn't matter. They're all based off of that same sound. A, I, U, E, O. So it doesn't matter what the word, it's going to be comprised of sounds that are similar to A, I, U, E, O. Let's look at it. First one here. It's written with E and I. A. And it means, this actually has a meaning, rayfish. You don't have to remember that. Next one, O. 2 O's combined become just O. It's just a long O. In katakana, it would be O with a little line after it. Same exact sound. O. This next one is O. Now, this is where he gets a little bit confused. This is where he's like, well, I don't know. It always sounds like O when I hear it in the sound file. And that's true. A lot of times, some books will actually just write both of these the exact same way, with a line on top, and they don't distinguish between whether it's an U or an O for the second symbol to make that long sound. We at Yes Japan do like to make that distinction because when you're learning hiragana, you want to know, is it O or is it O-U? For example, Oto-san. Now you probably don't hear it. It's actually O-to-U-san. But if you wrote it like Oto-o-san, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It sounds the same. Oto-o-san. It's really just another way to elongate. In certain words, you will hear the U, in some words you won't. And that's why you're going to hear the same, you're going to listen to the sound file and you're going to go, wait, that's not what I learned in the pronunciation. But remember, everything has a variation. Even though we teach you a certain way, you're going to come across variation. In every language, there's going to be variation. Let's look at what we got here on the other side. Ka. It's just a ka and an a together. Ka. This is in the word oka-san. Oka-san. Ka-i. Kai. Becomes one thing, right? Kai. It's combined, and you're really not going to say ka-i. You're going to say kai. Kao. Which means face, by the way. Kao. Alright? Let me address a couple more of his questions. Okay? He says, what about namae? Name. It sounds like na-mai-e. That's what it is. It's na-ma-e. Not na-mai, but na-ma-e. This is a common thing that foreigners mess up. They say namai. It's not namai. It's na-ma-e. Namae. Okay? What about sayonara? He says that the O is held. Yes, it is, because it's written sa-yo-u-nara. Sayonara. It's not, like we hear in America, sayonara. It's sayonara, sayonara, sayonara. Okay? Also, he says that in one of the sound files he hears the word for lettuce. I believe that is lesson 2 of course 1. He says he hears it as reitasu. Reitasu. I'd have to go back and check, but that would be incorrect. It really is retasu. And again, keeping in tradition, e, a, I, u, e, re, retasu. So the 3 main things that the Grimace was worried about were I, the sound a, I, sometimes just sounds like I. And really, that's what it sounds like. It's a and I. A, I. And O, he says, sometimes it sounds like O. And guess what? That is 100% correct. Sometimes it does sound like that. And a lot of times they just melt it together. Oto-san, like we talked about before. Oto-san. Even though it's Oto-u-san. I'll be honest. I've been speaking Japanese for Let me think about this. I was 17 when I really got into it, but I went to Japan when I was 12. So let's just say that from 17, I was speaking Japanese. So I'm 36 now. Do the math. It's 19 years. So even now, after 19 years of speaking Japanese, I still get hung up on, is that elongated or not? And you will probably always be caught up on that because you didn't learn this as a baby and it's not natural to you. So don't worry about it too much. If you mess it up, no one's going to hear the mistake. If you said otu-san, it'd be a problem. But oto-san, otou-san, where I just said it with a little bit more of the u, no one's going to notice it. Now, namae, you got to get that one right. You can't say name, and you can't say namae. It's namae. Namae wa nan desu ka? Onamae, a lot of times I'll put an O in front to make it more polite. Onamae wa nan desu ka? So there you go. I think I've answered everything. If I haven't, please chastise me in the comments of this question, and I will make sure to respond to you there. Thank you for watching. Ask a Teacher. I'll see you next time. Bye.